Today, we are going to talk about a mental condition that is spreading rapidly across the world, yet one that many people still do not fully understand. That condition is depression. You might think, isn't sadness the same as depression? Not quite. Let us first understand what sadness is. Sadness has a cause. It comes and it goes. Depression is very different. It lingers. The cause may not be clear. It darkens one's entire life. Have you ever experienced a moment when, for no apparent reason, your mind felt completely empty? When you had no desire to do the things you once loved? No wish to see anyone? What is happening to me? Have you ever found yourself thinking that? If such a state persists over time, we call it depression. What does depression do? When depression sets in, it does not affect just one part of you. It impacts your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior, and your body, all at the same time. Here is a simple example. You think, I am worthless. That is a thought. From that thought, your heart fills with sorrow. That is a feeling. From that feeling, you lose the will to do anything. That is behavior. And together, all of this slows your entire life down. This is how depression grips us step by step, as a cycle. Depression versus anxiety. Are they the same? No. Depression and anxiety are not the same, though they can coexist. A person with anxiety is restless inside, living in fear, with a body full of tension. Imagine you are about to sit an exam. Thoughts like these arise. Will I fail? What if something goes wrong? Will people judge me? That is anxiety. A person with depression has no energy. They feel hollow, slowed down. Things they once loved, talking to friends, traveling, listening to music, now feel meaningless. I don't feel like doing any of it. I just want time to pass. That is depression. Simply put, anxiety is the system running on overdrive. Depression is the system running far below capacity. Why does depression happen? There is no single cause. Major contributing factors include chemical imbalances in the brain, genetic influences, painful life experiences, and social difficulties. But across all of these, people living with depression often share a common inner experience. I have no hope. I am helpless. I have no worth. This is what we might call the psychological abyss. How does this cycle build? A negative thought arises. We believe it. It repeats. Eventually, it becomes our identity. For example, every time you look in the mirror, you think, I am not good enough. If you think that 10 times a day, it stops being a passing thought. It becomes a habit. And then it becomes your identity. Not, I have a thought like this, but this is who I am. At that point, you are no longer observing a thought. You see yourself. I am a failure. I have no worth. These now feel like facts. As a result, behavior changes too. Fear of trying, withdrawing from people, reducing activities. This leads to fewer positive experiences, which in turn fuels more negative thoughts. And the cycle continues. Depression can be healed. Modern science tells us that medication, therapy, and mindfulness practice are effective treatments. Therapy in particular helps people identify their thought patterns, challenge them, and break the cycle. Now, a different perspective. We have discussed how modern science explains depression, but 2,600 years ago, the Buddha offered a remarkably subtle answer to these same deep questions. Buddhism does not use the word depression, but it clearly describes its root cause, its cycle, and the path to freedom from it. The Four Noble Truths. 1. Dukkha, the truth of suffering. The foundation of Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths, not merely a religious teaching, but a remarkably precise observation about the nature of life. You might think, my life doesn't have major suffering. But look more carefully. Even in moments of happiness, there is often a faint sense of incompleteness underneath. I want a little more. Is this right? That subtle feeling is dukkha. Depression can be understood as a deep expression of this same dukkha. 2. Samudaya, the cause of suffering. Buddhism asks, why does suffering arise? The answer is clinging, attachment. Think of a river. The water flows constantly. It is always changing, never the same water. Yet we say, that same river. The mind is like that river. Thoughts come and go and change. But we grab hold of them and say, this is me. This is what gives rise to the cycle of suffering. Why thoughts like, I am a failure, or I have no worth, begin to feel like truth. 3. Nirodha, the cessation of suffering. Here is the most remarkable point in Buddhism. Suffering can be ended, but not by fighting it, not by suppressing it, and not by rejecting those feelings as bad. By understanding, by seeing that this too is something that changes. Clinging naturally loosens on its own. 4. Magga, the path. The Noble Eightfold Path, the path to the end of suffering, works through three integrated dimensions: sila, virtue, living a good, meaningful life, which stabilizes the mind; samadhi, concentration, training the mind through meditation, building the capacity to observe thoughts; prajna, wisdom, deep understanding of reality, insight into impermanence, suffering, and the absence of a fixed self. These three dimensions work together as an integrated system, each supporting the others. Mindfulness. A key tool on the Eightfold Path is sati, seeing this moment without judgment. Imagine a thought arises, I am not good enough. Ordinarily, we believe that thought, react to it, and cling to it. A person practicing sati simply notes it as a thought. They observe it. They do not attach. They see it as something that arose and will pass. Anicca, or impermanence. One of the deepest truths in Buddhism is Anicca. Everything changes. Thoughts change. Feelings change. The body changes. Life circumstances change. This means depression changes too. This darkness is not permanent. Right now, this is very painful, but this too is flowing. This too is impermanent. That insight generates hope, and that hope is a profound source of strength. Science and Buddhism. Different or the same? In today's world, we are all racing. Education, work, life goals, all at once. Yet in the midst of that race, have you ever felt a small emptiness inside, a faint shadow growing within? Modern science calls this state depression. Buddhism, 2,600 years earlier, spoke of it under the truth of dukkha. Are what science says and what Buddhism says actually different? Or are they the same truth, explained in two different ways? How each views depression. Science sees depression as a mental illness, to be diagnosed, medicated, and managed. In simple terms, like repairing a broken machine. Identify the problem and fix it. Buddhism does not view it as an illness. It sees it as a naturally arising process, an expression of dukkha itself. Science, this needs to be fixed. Buddhism, this needs to be understood. Why does it happen? Science seeks the answer through mechanism, a chemical imbalance in the brain. Serotonin drops, mood drops, genes, trauma, chronic stress all contribute. It explains how the condition arises. Buddhism goes deeper, not to the mechanism, but to the root cause, clinging, and the mistaken notion of a fixed self. I must have this. I cannot survive without this. When that attachment breaks, suffering arises. Science, how does it happen? Buddhism, why does it happen? How each approaches thoughts. CBT therapy says, identify negative thoughts. If you think I am a failure, ask, is that true? Can you prove it? No. Then it is not reality. Replace the negative thought with a positive one. Buddhism does something different. It does not challenge the thought or argue with it. It simply notes, a thought has arisen. It observes. It neither grips it nor rejects it. The thought comes and goes. Think of standing by a river. Water flows past. You do not jump in to stop it. From the bank, you simply observe, yes, the water is flowing. Thoughts are just like that water. They come, they go. You are separate from them. The view of self-science says, build your self-esteem. You are a good person. It constructs a better self. Buddhism asks a deeper question. Is the self actually a fixed thing? Look at a photo of yourself at age 10. Is that you? Your body has changed. Your thoughts have changed. Your life experiences have changed. Yet we say, yes, that was me. This means I is not a fixed entity. It is a flowing process. The problem with depression is this. A temporary thought becomes a permanent identity. A moment of failure becomes, I am a failure. And that thought gets repeated day after day until it hardens into who we believe we are. The way out. When that thought arises, I am worthless. A thought has come. Watch it from the bank. Neither agree with it nor fight it. In this way, depression cannot take root. Mindfulness, tool or path. Today, mindfulness is spoken of everywhere, in hospitals, schools, corporations, apps. But where did that word originally come from? Entirely from Buddhism. From the concept of sati. Science uses mindfulness as a tool. A cancer patient in a hospital is guided through mindfulness to manage anxiety. An employee is taught to meditate for 10 minutes a day to increase productivity. It is used to fix a specific problem. When the problem goes, the tool is set aside. Buddhism uses mindfulness as a path. Day by day, observing thoughts as they arise and pass, the practitioner comes to see. Those thoughts are not me, they are something flowing through. From that seeing, anxiety no longer causes panic, sadness no longer causes drowning. A new understanding of these experiences has formed. It is a journey for a lifetime. They are not opposites. They complement each other. For severe depression, medication and therapy are essential. That is a fact beyond doubt. But when mindfulness and wisdom are added to that foundation, a deeper healing becomes possible. In the end, you do not have to choose between the two. They do not conflict. They complement each other. Science repairs your mind. Buddhism sets your mind free. The thoughts in your mind may be chemical reactions, but it is you who gives them meaning. You have the capacity to observe them, to let them go, to be free of them. Science says your mind can be healed. Buddhism says you can be free from the very problem of the mind. May the triple gem bless you.